What's up, guys? CM back again with another Advent Calendar video. Day 23, there's only two more after this one. And so, yeah. Heads up, by the way, guys. And I will be making a normal video for tomorrow and for the 25th as well. Just the 25th will be quite late, purely because I will be going down to visit family tomorrow on the 24th. I will not be back until the early evening on the 25th. So, yeah. Anyways, today we have the VK7501K German Tier 8 Premium Heavy Tonk. So, this thing, I'm going to say right now, they're selling it pretty cheap. They're selling it at, well, for what it is, well, for a Tier 8 Heavy at least, they're selling it at £23 and 47 pence. That's 27 euros and 83 euro cents. That's probably one of the cheaper Tier 8 Premium Heavies that you can find. And it's not without good reason. This thing's just kind of meh overall. It's not a bad tank, but it's just not great either. So I'm gonna start with the armor on this thing. As you can see, it's a rear mounted turret on this tank. So this tank is clearly based off of the VK4502B in terms of how they want it to, how Wargaming wanted this tank to play. So your side scraping heavy tank with a strong upper plate. That's basically what they wanted. And providing that you can side scrape around a corner that lets you hide your cupola, it does that pretty well. But that's basically where this tank's capability ends in terms of what it does well. So your upper plate is actually pretty decent. Most things will probably not go through there. Like most things that you meet, well, at least with standard ammo, won't do so well going through there. So maybe only really tier 10 TDs and some tier 9s, depending on the angle that those TDs hit you at. Obviously, the lower plate is a weak spot. That's normal. That's whatever. And side armor's pretty good. So you've got 100 millimeters on the side of the hull. You've got 180 millimeters on your upper plate, and you've got 80 millimeters on the rear. And so it's not bad. One thing to keep in mind, though, with all of these German tanks that have, well, any tank actually in the game that has an overhang over above the tracks. So you can see how the hull hangs over the tracks a little bit. Yeah, that's not it's not great because if someone's below you, they can shoot up through the tracks and they can go through the underside of that overhang and pen you. So keep that in mind. Depending on where they shoot, if there's something like a T95, for example, then they'll probably be looking at you kind of like this if you're side scraping. So they will have the potential to go through there anyway. So keep that in mind. As for the turret is 250 millimeters at the very thickest. That's actually not on the. I think that's not on the front either. Let me just double check that for you guys real quick. I think that's gunmantlet that it refers to, but just making sure I've not misremembered that. Okay, so it is on the turret front, just not the whole of it. So basically, your 250 in terms of raw thickness is basically around this little machine gun port here and around this view slot there. It does get thinner, but obviously, as you can see, it rounds a little bit. But it doesn't. That rounding doesn't do a lot. Actually, it gets weaker when it goes round, for the most part. So yeah, so you're talking about 250. Well, the minimum that it goes to from the looks of things is about 245 millimeters effective, up to a maximum of about 260 to 270. So a lot of tanks will just go through your turret front with 2 key if they manage to hit. Even a lot of same tier ones if they hit the weaker parts like around here and around here. And so keep that in mind. You of course have a pretty big cupola. So basically anything you can meet will pen that if they get a shot on it. So keep that in mind. You can overmatch your own turret roof, but you do need actually 122s, as far as I remember, don't overmatch it, but your 128 does. A little weird, I know, but that's the way that that's the thickness of the armor there, as far as I remember. And so it's at least 41. I think it's at least 40 millimeters. So there's that. If it's only 40, though, then yeah, expect 122s to do the same. As for the turret sides, they're 100 millimeters as well. Do not angle the turret because that will just make your turret side an easy pen. This is not like the mouse. This is not something you can angle. And so yeah, at least as far as the turret goes. So realistically, you want to be side scraping where you're basically at this kind of angle for the hull. So then you're hiding that lower plate and hiding the cupola as best you can behind the corner that you're side scraping against, because that way you're going to try and minimize the chance for people to shoot one of your weak spots, and it kind of reduces their options and makes the areas that they can hit smaller. So the armor is just okay. It's not bad. It's not good. Just kind of it's situationally good, but it's nothing amazing. So what about mobility? Well, it's nothing amazing, nothing terrible either. So 11.9 horsepower per ton for your power to weight or your specific power, which isn't terrible for a tank like this. 30 kilometers an hour top speed, forwards, 15 in reverse. Nothing too bad there for this kind of tank either. It does turn a little slow, but nothing awful. And you have decent view range as well, like a lot of German tanks do. 380 base view range on this one. Not the highest at the tier for a heavy tank that the Germans have, but again, perfectly fine, perfectly workable, pretty solid overall. Now comes one of the biggest pain points for me, the gun. So this gun it's a bit of a gimmick at tier 8. Bit of a gimmick. So 490 alpha damage on this gun. It's the only 490 alpha damage gun on a tier 8 heavy tank. You've got 226 AP pen, 263 APCR, both for 490, 65 HE pen for 630. You have a kind of slow rate of fire, so you got pretty low DPM for that. It's all about just trying to use your armor and get the reload off, and then either trade or hit someone for that 490 alpha damage. Problem though, it has a long aiming time, 2.7 second base aiming time, 0.39 base dispersion, so it's neither accurate nor does it aim quickly. On top of that, I found this gun to be one of those guns that just has a really weird habit of flinging shells to like the very, very, very edge of your aiming circle, more than it does literally any other part of your aiming. Oh, any other part of where you could hit, and it's really strange. Like, so a lot of guns will do, they'll do a couple of shots out to the side, they'll do maybe a couple of shots to the middle and somewhere in between, but like this seems to just go wildly out to the edges, way more than other guns that I've used at the tier, and I don't know if it's something that Wargaming have tinkered with in the background for the RNG on this gun, but it just doesn't feel reliable. It feels like the shots just kind of fly away from where the general direction of your where your aiming is, more than they should. And shell velocity is not bad though. So I mean, at least if it does go roughly where it should be, then at least it's somewhat easy to aim at long ranges against moving targets. And so there's that. But honestly, I found this gun to be really disappointing. It's not great. I do feel like it needs a bit of a buff, mainly to the accuracy side, because here's the thing, right? You have very pronounced weak spots on this tank. That's a very big cupola, very big lower plate. You're a very big target as well. So if you look at the side profile, even if you're just counting the turret, that's not a small turret. So if you're looking at someone else and you've got someone who's got a shot here, that's not a small target. And then on top of that, you have this overhang where people can just go through the underbelly of the hull technically, and get the pen and potentially even the tracking shot at the same time. Because of these drawbacks, this gun should be better. I feel like this gun, if it was, it doesn't need a better rate of fire. It needs better accuracy. It needs better aim time. That's it. Does not need more pen. Does not need more alpha damage. Does not need a better reload. It just needs to be able to hit things more consistently. It needs better accuracy and aim time, like I say. One other thing, you've only got 5 degrees of gun depression, so it's not particularly flexible position-wise either. So yeah, there's that as well. 15 degrees of elevation also. So yeah, not a particularly flexible tank, but it's not awful either, but it does need some love, which is why I'm not surprised that it's one of the cheapest uh, tier 8 premium heavies. So can I recommend it? No, I cannot. Not even at the price that it's at. Not in its current state, at least. If Wargaming decide to buff this thing, which I do feel like it needs, then it might be worth getting. Either way, it's an interesting tank nonetheless. So if you guys feel like you want to add it to your collection, cool. If you guys already have it and want to put up what you think in the comments, feel free to let me know your thoughts, your opinions on this tank, and your experiences. It'd be great to see those as well. Anyway, guys, that's all from me. And tonight's stream, by the way, guys, as I'm recording this, I don't think I'll be playing tanks tonight. I think I'll be playing Dark Souls 2. So for those of you who didn't manage to drop by the Dark Souls part of last night's stream, basically, if you guys watch my World of Tanks streams, you know that I like to be just a little bit of a memer, I like a little bit of the fun kind of toxicity, you know. So that all comes from my experiences in Dark Souls 2, like years ago, right? And it's been great to get back to that now that there's a mod that makes matchmaking amazing in that game. So yeah, hopefully I'll see plenty of you guys there. So yeah, until next time, guys. Video tomorrow. Peace out.